The inspiration for this model suite was to really keep in line with what's happening with the entire project. Our theme for the project, in combination with our model suite, was to keep things as clean, as simple, as architectural, without being cold. I think modern design today doesn't have to be a combination of white on white. Modern design can have the textures and the layers of this type of furniture like you see in this model suite. Really, it's sort of a canvas, as I call it, a canvas to sort of display all the artwork that we have in this model suite, which we've paid a lot of attention to. To me, the buyer of this model suite is someone who lives in the neighborhood, who has already established a great collection, has furniture or doesn't have furniture, that doesn't really matter, but they're here to use the walls in the model suite. This is 1,336 square feet, so we have enough space here where walls can be decorated with fantastic artwork. Our carpets have great textures to them. They're all very monochromatic to our furniture. This is by no accident. We try to do this so that, again, everything on the walls really stands out and everything remains very monochromatic. But you never really sort of fade away from the quality of the pieces that we have here. All the pieces that you see here are all Italian made, all imported from Italy. A lot of fantastic brands in there. We've got some beautiful highs and lows too, like our coffee table as an example is all made up of blackened chrome and glass, smoked glass at that. So those are the highs, as I call them, and the lows being the carpeting and the sofa. And so as the light reflects these types of furniture within your space, you really get an appreciation for its quality. I want to focus a minute on this suite itself and its functionality. Who did we have in mind for this suite? Well, we thought about those who were downsizing. We thought about those that were sort of starting off as a family. And so the plan itself works that way. It's a 2-bedroom suite. The way we furnished it, I think, was really smart in that we furnished it as a 1-bedroom plus den, so that the family who's upsizing, they can take this unit and then really convert it. So if they have a child in the future, then the couple was able to convert the den into a 2nd bedroom. The living room itself, open concept kitchen, really makes sense in terms of who that person is today. Who's that person? It's someone who's downsizing is certainly going to be entertaining. So that open concept kitchen, the communal space around there, the beautiful dining room sitting right in the corner so you have a great view of the city. This works. The bedrooms themselves are generous in size, and it works to be able to have his and her bathrooms, for example, his and her vanities as well. And this is the sort of thing I feel that today's buyer needs, again, whether they're upsizing or downsizing. Let's talk about the master ensuite. His and her bathroom, really, really nicely detailed. Contemporary, sleek, elegant, timeless. I think it's the sort of master ensuite I feel it will last the test of time. The finishes in there are gorgeous. The textures in there are fantastic. It functions and operates very, very beautifully. I also like the fact that we have this wonderful screen between the actual ensuite and the vanities themselves. Beautifully detailed, timeless in design, I think a really elegant space. I want to focus a moment on the amenity spaces for this building, really what inspired us as the designers on the project. I'd have to say that the neighborhood, being Yorkville and all, was clearly an inspiration. Definitely one of the other things that was inspiring here was the architecture that Page & Steel has created here. We're looking at a building here that is very, very timeless, very contemporary, clean lines, and really that was sort of our challenge, was to ensure that there isn't this big juxtaposition between the architecture and the interiors. So in other words, what I mean is if we have a modern building, we're not going to walk into a traditional interior for the lobbies. We want the lobbies to stay contemporary. We want them to stay modern. We want them to stay timeless. And this is very, very important because I find with lobbies, if they're not timeless, well then they'll fade away by the time the project comes together. And if you'll follow me for a minute, I'll tell you exactly what I mean, because our lobby in itself was, I find that the materials that we used, I find that the sculptural staircase that we put in here, which really was an inspiration to what Frank Gehry's done with our AGO. We wanted this thing to become this iconic moment that people walk in. We've got double height ceilings. All of our walls are done in limestone. Our flooring is done in limestone. But really the hero of this lobby is that staircase. And I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular. The artwork, again, a very large component of this project, will also just adorn all the walls that you see within the project. Yorkville has some of our city's best rooftop terraces and patios and gyms. We had that in mind when we were thinking about the amenity spaces here at PEARS. We wanted to make sure that our amenity spaces were of the same caliber and quality. Our rooftop terrace in this particular project is spectacular. It opens up from the party room and the gym. And how great is this? All landscaped, beautifully architecturally detailed. We worked very closely with NAC Design to ensure that the features in here are in keeping with the project. Clean, contemporary, timeless. The pool at PEARS is a magnificent space. Double height, a lot of glass, a lot of natural light coming through. And it really kind of was inspired by some of the more modern Roman baths that we saw in Italy. We used travertino for all the walls. Really kind of made it a space that was a fantastic urban retreat. PEARS, a project by Menkes. Stunning architecture, timeless interiors, right in the heart of Yorkville.